Hey, good morning. It is 7:10. And I'm doing the morning video, and I listened to two videos, readings. They weren't really even readings. They were just like, there was no cards or anything. It was just two people talking. And the first one kind of mentioned slowing down. And then the second one mentioned letting go. And it's just really funny because it's like, yeah, that's all that's ever really been being talked about over and over and over again is slowing down and letting go. Because I've already done everything. And I now like get it. It's like I don't think I realized until now that there was still, and I mentioned it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. But I mentioned the idea that, and I questioned, am I still waiting for someone else to come in and save me? And in a weird way, I think the answer was yes, I was. Because I still inside felt like there was something I didn't have. And I was like, well, I should wait because I'm being told to wait. And when I wait, I can't live truly like I'm waiting, you know? And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why am I waiting for something if I already have everything? And then I sat down now, just a couple minutes ago, and really thought about, don't I already have everything? And really, all of the like things that I'm thinking about when it comes to like the divine partner and all of that stuff, all of that's already inside me. Like, genuinely, and I know this is going to sound weird, but it's like, genuinely, I already have all the love I could ever want inside. So, the divine partner showing up is not about getting more love, because I already have all the love I'd ever need. Okay, so then what about money or finances? Well, right now, I already have all the finances I need to do the things that I want to do. So it's like, well, okay, So I don't, like, the divine partner's not coming to give me finances because I already have them. And to be fair, that's even before, that was not like my thought. The main thing was the love. But what about like a home? It's like the silliest one of all because I do have a home inside. I've literally built it. And I've built it over lifetimes. The home is already in there. So like no one could give me a home because the home is already there. And so then I was like, well, what about like intimacy? I'm so intimate inside with myself that no one could be more intimate than my intimacy inside. So no one's giving me intimacy either. And then I thought about like, okay, well, what about like a career or a job? I'm literally making videos, and I've been making videos every single day. I love doing them, and I love talking with you guys and showing my kind of transformations and growth and all of that stuff. So I don't actually need anyone to talk to about stuff because I'm already talking to all of you about the things. So it's like I'm already doing the thing that I said I wanted. And it's like, well, duh. Like, I'm already, all the things I'm feeling and thinking about are already, like, being talked about. So, what's left is really nothing. There's nothing left in the bag. And I say bag, there was this idea of, like, a backpack. And carrying the back, like, in the backpack is all of the things that you desire. And I'm across this bridge, this invisible bridge that I've been walking, and I thought I had like pretty much all the things out of the backpack already, and I have. I just didn't realize that I was still carrying the backpack, and I'm just throwing away the backpack now because I don't need the backpack. I already have everything. So I'm letting go of the backpack, and it's falling and dropping away because there was nothing inside there to begin with. And I had already had everything. And so the backpack was an illusion to begin with. And the idea of just sitting and doing nothing, what I mean by that is like, I don't have to do anything. It literally, like, now it makes sense because it's like, yeah, I don't have to do anything because I've already done everything. I already have everything in the truest sense. Like, the idea that we're all one being means that inside, everything that I've ever wanted is already there. And so more pieces of me showing up, that's cool. But like, I already have everything inside. So there is no like desperation or need to fill something there because I already have it. And I think that is the thing that has been missing, is the recognition that I already have it. I recognize I already have everything I need, everything I want. Just saw 11:11 on the timer. And because I have it all, there's nothing that I need to search for. And I've been talking about not looking for things. I'm not, and I haven't been. But in the past, it's like not even it's like I didn't recognize that this whole time I already had everything. I've been floating around, and it's like, well, shit, yeah, I do already have everything. And the stillness that I've been told to do is also that I could just remember that I have everything. Because sometimes it's really easy to get caught up in stuff that distract you. And it's like, yeah, I have everything. And I'm not trying to like brainwash myself or anything. Like, I can feel it inside. The low hum that like the feeling of fullness, the inner peace. Like, I've been allowing, because I was like, oh, maybe there's more stuff I have to like deal with. So letting all of these emotions and whatnot that I've been like afraid of or whatever to kind of infiltrate, to let like to come within the inner peace in order to not be a robot, because I think there was a fear that the inner peace was going to make me a robot. And I've kind of proven no, the inner peace doesn't make you a robot. All the inner peace does is give you the option of what to do with whatever feelings that you feel. And, I already have the inner peace. I already have the love. I already have all of my needs fulfilled. So it's like truly, like, that's it. Like, I don't even need to say anymore. So yeah. Whoops. Flipped you guys around. So I think, when you look at it that way, you realize that there really is nothing left that you need to do. Because I've already done everything. And the trust and faith, it's not even about trusting that something will change. It's more about trusting the feeling of knowing that you have everything and that you will continue having everything that you need as you do whatever you're going to be doing. So, yeah. So I'm going to just live. That's it. I don't need to be worried about anything because, like, I don't need to feel worry because there's nothing to worry about. And I was confused about thinking I needed to feel worried. Well, if I don't let all the emotions in, I'm suppressing them. And it's like, you do not need to worry because there's nothing to worry about. So you're just making shit up in order to feel worry. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then when it comes to love and all of those other feelings, well, yeah, of course, I already feel them. Like, inside, I can feel how full the overflowing love is there. And I've said that for a while. That I could feel it. And I was just thinking in the past that, oh, maybe there's a second cup that needs to be filled. I'm like, that's so ridiculous. You have inside, you have the cup, it's overflowing. There's no need for a second cup because the first cup's already overflowing. So it's like having an infinity amount of something versus having an infinity amount plus one. It's like, that's such a ridiculous concept. So it just felt like I was trying to trick myself into, like, I don't know, forgetting what I already have. And it's like, yeah, there's no, I don't need to forget what I have. That seems really stupid. Um, yep. So I'm just going to. Oh, the other thing. I don't need. You know how I was saying it's tiring to keep explaining myself? I don't need to explain myself because I already understand. And since we're all effectively the same being, we think we're separate, but we're not. everyone understands. They just don't know that they understand. So I don't need to explain myself because everyone is one and we already all understand. So I'm not going to explain myself. I'm just going to be. And that is a really good feeling because it's like, oh my gosh, I've been over explaining myself for so long. And now it's time to just be. Editing the videos uh, the other day or yesterday. The other day. Editing the videos yesterday. It was like, oh yeah. I remember. I remember how I felt last week. The just enjoying everything and not worrying about stuff. And it's like, yeah, I can still do that. Like, why can't I? Um and to be fair, I have been enjoying the things that I've been doing. Um I really loved the butterfly exhibit. That was really awesome. But even just this place is very nice. Um having my own bathroom, uh having a washer dryer, all of that stuff is really helpful. And you know, I I have everything. And it doesn't matter where I'm at. I still have everything. And I think that is another piece of the puzzle. It's like, yeah, I already have everything. The home is where I'm at. It doesn't matter what's around me because the home is inside me. You know, the I think there's a saying or an adage or something of the home is where the heart is. It's like, yeah, damn right it is. I saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 2, 3, 4, 5 on the timer, but yeah. So okay. And it's like yeah, I've already won. Like truly. It's like doing a victory lap. It's like, yeah, I already had all this and I recognized it before. And then I just kind of was like, "Oh, I should probably maybe it's too simple." That's like, no, it's not. It's not too simple. Um, so I'm like, yeah, and that's it. So it's the overthinking. It's like I don't need to overthink this. I have everything. That's it. So Okay. I'm gonna go. Bye. Hello, it is 3:06. Oh my gosh, I keep doing this. Sorry. I keep flipping it when I like swipe off to try and get rid of the counter. So I went to the zoo. I probably could have recorded some of the zoo. I don't know. If I was by myself, I would have, but I was with my friend, and yeah, my friend did some recordings, but I don't know. I didn't want to talk to you guys while I'm hanging out with someone else, unless that person is okay with potentially being like a part of the whole thing. Um, and so it was just me and them hanging out, doing zoo stuff. So zoo was fun. Um, then we went and got food. Um, I'll say that they were very nice and basically have paid any time we hung out. They basically paid for everything. Which, to be fair, it's mainly just food. But I still appreciate it, and yeah. At first, I felt a little weird about it, but then I was like, okay, I need to accept the kindness of others. I need to allow, if someone wants to do something nice for me, it's okay for me to accept it. So I've been doing that, and there's like a fine line of not like I'm not anticipating that someone's going to do that or that my friend's going to do that. I'm always ready to pay, but it's still like appreciated that the friend was willing to do that. So yeah. Didn't know the zoo was free. So that's cool. Like, I'm used to the zoo costing money. So it's like, oh, okay. You can just walk into the zoo whenever. It was very busy. Um, a lot of cool things there. Their like birdhouse exhibit was totally closed for the entire year, basically. And it'll be reopened in 2027. So, is what it is. But the big cat exhibit was really cool. They had a reptile exhibit. The penguins were awesome. You could get really close to the penguins. Bears were being bears. It was funny. And then there's some hippos sleeping. Butterfly exhibit was also closed, which is sad. The two places that I was kind of hoping to see the most, the birds and the butterflies, were closed. But I think even without them, the zoo was still really cool. So, yeah, I don't know. It was great. And oh my gosh, like places where there are lines out the door is insane. Or like at the door or wrapping around or whatever. That's just like I'm like, what? um for food, by the way. I'm talking about food. So we went to one place first, and that food, they were like 30 minutes. We totally could have just eaten there. But we ended up going to a different place that had soup. Soup and sandwiches instead of just sandwiches. And the soup looked really, really tasty. I ended up getting a sandwich. The sandwich was very good. And yeah, I something that like I wasn't too sure about until today. But I could definitely feel it today. There's like there's definitely a disconnect that I could feel where it was kind of like the things that we could talk about with each other, we didn't really have a lot in common. Other than, playing video games and hanging out online, which I no longer do for the most part. So I think, I also noticed that with the friend I hung out with previously. It was different though. The friend I hung out with previously in North Carolina, that was more. It was more like both that friend and this friend are definitely higher up in the like spiritual, like, doing spiritual stuff. But I felt like this friend that I just finished hanging out with, there's almost like an annoyance when spiritual stuff is brought up. It's not outward or obvious. It's very subtle in like we'll talk about something like a friend or whatever, that they were referring to, and kind of mentioning something offhanded, and then kind of like, yeah, totally, I know already. And just to be clear, it wasn't rude or anything weird like that. It was just more of like, I think they're in this place of, they know what other people can do to help themselves, and they also understand that those people have to figure it out themselves, but they're not at the point where letting go of, like, you don't have to carry other people's problems with you. They're still in the carrying phase where they've stuffed their backpack full of other people's problems, and it does affect them. And it's kind of like, they're running themselves ragged doing it. And it's a lot of little things. But previously, like even a couple weeks ago, I would have definitely just straight up said to the person, hey, this is what you're doing. And And I kind of hinted at it at one point, but I didn't just like say it, because something I've realized is it's not my place to just boom point out someone's like thing they're dealing with, because sometimes people are not ready to hear it, or it's unwanted, where maybe they know but they just don't want to like see it or deal with it or whatever. And so in the past I would have just said the thing without taking into consideration like whether the person wants to hear it or not. And this time it's like, okay, I'm not going to say anything because I can tell that this person is not interested in hearing about it. I think they just know. And so it's kind of like, yeah. Anyway, it's just small little things where it's I could tell that there was kind of a lack of is it chemistry? Is that what I'm thinking of? It's more like the person before. There was a level of chemistry there where it's like we were kind of on the same wavelength of just like vibing, chatting, doing whatever. And it didn't matter what we did because we wanted to just hang out with each other and that was it. Whereas this person, it's like it felt more like I'm glad I got to meet you, but I have a lot on my plate and I just kind of want to deal with the other stuff and do all the other stuff. And this was cool, but also like I kind of just don't have time. And there's just other stuff that is taking priority. And just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. I think yeah, it's kind of like okay, I understand. It's the difference between I want to know more about you and interact with you on a deeper level versus I see you, I experience you, I don't need to know more. And that's the difference, I think. And again, there's nothing wrong with like both scenarios. We had a lot of fun, both this week and last week. Both the buddies I hung out with. But it's a very subtle difference where the buddy prior was interested in learning more about me. The buddy this week is like, I do not have room in my life to want to know more about you. And so yeah, so it's kind of like it's very interesting because this is going to sound weird. It's like, why did they want me to come out and meet them? And that's, again, that's nothing personal on them. I think like they've just been very busy and all of this stuff. But it's like a lot of the small things to me add up to it's another one of those things where it's like saying yes to things that maybe upon reflection you're like, I didn't actually want this to happen, but in the moment I kind of was okay with having it happen. And that's not to say that I truly believe they wanted to meet me and hang out, and that's fine. But it very much to me, it felt like they felt bad that they have a lot going on in their life. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize that it would be like this when you showed up. But it kind of, I'll just say, it kind of was perfect for me. And so there's nothing to feel bad about. Same with the friend prior. Like, I feel bad the friend got into a car accident, which totally fine. There's no problem, no like health issues or anything. The only thing is the car. The front car is just kind of fucked. But it was kind of a scenario of like, oh, we couldn't go and do the thing, but also it worked out better than if we did go and do the thing, I think. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I kind of got the feeling that I think in the past we would have meshed way better. Like back in January or maybe the very beginning of February. But now I've kind of jumped ahead a lot on my like journey. And I don't think they've really been filled in because they've just been so busy. And I've tried on a few occasions to kind of like bring it up or hint at it or whatever, but it's kind of like, again, it's the I don't have time to really learn more about you. And it's like they've filled up in their life. Like they've filled their life up and packed it pretty tight. So yeah, I don't know. It's I think they also struggle with allowing others to help. They want to like do it themselves. um, which is, again, totally fine. Um, but it's like, it's such a mirror of my past self. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is totally me, a year ago, or 6 months ago, or hell, even in January. Of just kind of allowing everyone to have a piece of me and then not having enough time for myself. And so I'm really happy that I was able to come here and kind of witness it from a third person perspective, because it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, and from an outside perspective, it's so obvious. But when you're in it, you don't see it. I can also understand why it would kind of throw off people I interact with when I went from, the people pleaser that's trying to help everyone and trying to kind of, oh, I care about this person, so I'm doing it, and it's okay, and I've convinced myself that this, and this is okay to do because I do care, and I do want to help, and I want to do this, and, whatever, right? But you end up agreeing to all sorts of things you really don't want to do, because you're making compromises on yourself. You're like, well, I could do this. So, like, an example, the friend ended up taking a shift from 5 to 8 today. I'm like, why are you doing that? And there, it's like so interesting to see it in real time, where it's like, because we were just chatting in the line to get lunch, and it was like, we it was brought up. I was like, okay, yeah, you have like work. It's at like 5, right? And they're like, yeah, it's at 5. And I'm like, what a weird shift, 5 to 8. Why are you even doing that? And then they were like, well, I have myself as not available for like any shifts, and I really don't want to be working there. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't want to be working there and you have yourself unavailable for shifts. Why are you taking a shift? Well, because it's an easy job, and, I care about the people there, and, you know, it's a back and forth where it's like, I'm happy to do it, and the boss is like, hey, I know that you said that you're not interested in a shift, but do you want to cover 3 hours here? And then it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do it, and, so, and there's the money aspect where it's like, oh, it's money, and, I like money, and it's like hearing it, it's, yeah, you're convincing yourself that you're willing to give away your time because of all of these reasons, even though you just said in the very beginning you don't want to do any work there. So it's like, if you don't have firm boundaries and you don't say, no, I'm not interested in taking shifts, I don't care what the shift size looks like, I'm just not interested, sorry, you're just going to continuously be given shifts, even though you say you're not interested in the shifts. And you're going to keep taking them. So it's just like, it's things like that. And I was such a, I did this where it's like, buddy's like, hey, can you go and do this thing with me? I'm like, yeah, I guess I can. I do have things that I wanted to do, but I guess I can. And kind of not making time for yourself because other people have things that they want you to do is not putting yourself first. It's putting yourself second or third or fifth or whatever. And it's funny, we literally talked about this with a third person that was mentioned when we were sitting down. It's like, oh yeah, this person gets like 4 hours of sleep and their like mood is really bad, and it's because that they're like hanging out with people and yada 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 whatever. And I'm like, oh okay, well why don't they like prioritize their sleep? Well, because it's like they prioritize everyone else. And I'm just thinking of how ironic it is that the friend who's struggling with the sleep has the exact same problem as this other friend that I'm, talking to. They both have the same problem. And it's not prioritizing themselves, it's just different things. And then it's like, oh, it's people that have similar kind of struggles can recognize each other and become friends and all of that stuff because they deal with the same problems. And so when they're dealing with the same problems, they can talk to each other about it, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like-minded individuals group, right? So if one person's a people pleaser and then another person's a people pleaser in a different way, the problems look different, but it's the same core principle of people pleasing, right? So, and I'm sure the friend that's the sleep-deprived friend probably thinks the same way that this friend does about them, where it's like, yeah, I tell them all the time to, like, not let people do the thing, and, they just don't listen, and so it's like, well, like, they're gonna have to figure it out on their own. And it's like, yeah, both of you are there. You're both doing the same thing. And so it's like, wow. Like, I didn't even realize that was a thing that was happening. So, yeah. I also kind of have realized that there's kind of two main levels of interaction that I interact with people with. There's the deeper, like, methodical level, where it's like building brick by brick, and it's a really strong foundation. It takes a lot of time, but there's such a rewarding kind of payoff, so to speak, for the slow build. Because you build a fucking mansion out of it that the two of you, whoever the friendship or relationship or whatever it is, can kind of use, where it's like, oh, we built this mansion together, right? For a friendship or for a whatever, And then there's we will never build a mansion because one or both of us doesn't have the time to devote to doing it. So instead, we're going to pick a pre-built house and just have our relationship there. Because it's pre-built, we don't need to worry about it or stress about it too much. And yeah, maybe we clean out the house or whatever, but it's like it's pre-built. And so that's kind of the other level of like I've realized it's like it's the pre-built versus the custom, right? And what I've been looking for is custom. Doing everything from the ground up. And I've been with pre-builts where people are not interested in knowing the deeper aspects. And some people will humor the deeper, like, okay, sure, let's hear it. But I can confidently say that none of the friendships I have, well, aside from one, there is one that we've done the custom mansion. And that's just because we've known each other since like high school, or since little before high school. But they're kind of, we've never met in person, but that doesn't mean that we don't know each other really well. Because we're both very deep in terms of our experiences and all of that stuff. So, yeah. But I can say that everyone else, there really isn't that deep well. Technically, there is a friend that we've kind of done the custom house thing, but the problem is that friend, this is the friend that kind of struggles a lot, has a lot of kind of issues in their life, and I've tried helping like throughout a lot of my life. I've really tried helping them a lot. They're the main reason I haven't been, or I was able to figure out that you can't help people like in the truest sense. They have to help themselves. You can lead them to answers, but they have to write the answer down. And if they don't write the answer down, it doesn't matter if you've told it to them. And so they were like kind of a really big, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but they were like kind of a karmic connection where they were one of the karmic connections I really had to work through. But anyway, I'm not really going to get into that. That's not the point. But yeah, it's kind of like there isn't really anyone that is interested in building a custom house. And that's okay. But I think that's where the dissatisfaction with a lot of friendships comes from with me. Because, I like what we have, but also it's not a custom house. So there are things about the house that I'm like, ugh. Like, with anything that's not custom, there are going to be things that crop up that you're just like damn, I like wish we had a custom house, because then this wouldn't be a problem. And to be clear, I'm not talking about like the relationship itself. I'm just talking about the foundation we built it on, right? So now I'm entering this new phase of my life where custom houses is the thing I want. I'm not looking for the prefab houses. And if a prefab house shows up, I'll still interact with the prefab house, and that's fine. But I now distinctly, I'm looking for deeper. I'm looking for the custom house where we put in the time. And that's harder to find. Not saying it's not out there, but it is much harder to find. And like I said, nothing wrong with the way that the friendships I have are. I love the friendships I have. It's also just like there's like only so much I can talk about with them because they're busy with their own lives. They have their own stuff figured out, and they've built custom houses with people on their like spiritual level. And that makes sense because you really only build custom houses with people on a similar spiritual pathway to you. Similar problems, similar issues, similar whatever, right? That's why you're interacting with them, because there's like a similarity there that you can resonate with. And I'm not saying that like you have to be the same, but it's like you have to like similar things, you have to have similar interests, you have to have similar like hobbies or whatever. That's how you build those like deeper foundations. Like an example, there's at least one or two of the people that are in that like friend group with the trivia that all play instruments. And the friend that I came to hang out with and I hung out with earlier, they also love instruments and do like practices and all of that stuff. So it makes sense that people that play instruments, that's a big thing for them, right? That's like a connection. Even if it's not the same instrument, there's still the same level of like care and whatever that's put into it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's the intersecting kind of things that they care about that make the friendship so strong. And for most of my life, that was video games for me with all of my friends. Now, because I've removed myself from video games, not entirely, I was playing Final Fantasy X, that was fun, but like I don't think I'm going to play WoW. I'm not playing retail. I don't know if I'm going to play the Classic Plus that's going to come out eventually. I don't play any of the other like social games or whatever. They're fun, but also like doing this takes a lot of time. Doing the traveling thing, interacting with people, doing the filming, like this takes up a lot of time. And I like doing this a lot. I do. I enjoy having a space where I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. And, I don't care if you guys like or dislike what I'm saying. Obviously, I care that you guys can get something out of this. But, if you don't, or if you're not interested, or if you only watch a couple videos, or you sporadically, whatever, that's fine. If you put me on a second monitor, put me on 2x speed, go out for a run and listen, whatever it is, however you consume the content, like, that's fine. That's cool. So, yeah, I don't know. I do think that, well, I know, it's not even just thinking, it's knowing that some drastic changes are going to be happening in the next, like in the soon TM, like it's May. And technically, I just found out, I have until the end of July for the lease. So actually, it's a bit longer than I suspected. So basically, I have May, June, and July. So I have 3 months of, I don't know what this 3 months is going to look like. But what I do know is lots of changes are going to be happening throughout that time. I don't know if I'm going to stay for the full lease. If something shows up earlier, then, I'm going to use my discernment, but, I'm not going to just dismiss something because it's scary or whatever. The opportunities will be showing up in whatever form. But yeah, so this 3 months, it's like I still have a week where I'm going to go visit my uncle. And then after that, it's, well, I don't know, because I haven't booked my return trip yet. It still doesn't feel like the right time to book it. And I'm like, man, it's going to be expensive booking it last minute. But yeah, it feels like I'm not supposed to book it for some reason. I'll know like within the next couple days or whatever. I'll know why. But yeah. Oh, I also found out, just as a side thing, all the food trucks, it's Food Truck Friday. Didn't know that was a thing in the park, but that's really cool that they do that. So, got to walk around and see all the people, and that was awesome. So, pretty happy about that. What else? There's still the question mark on Italy. I don't know what's going on with that. I get the feeling that I just think things will show up. I'm keeping my eye open towards whatever, anything around Italy specifically, if there's any offers or any things that are going on. I'll just, I'll keep an eye out and I'll just let things happen. But anyway, I'm not really, gosh, I did it again. There's just dust on the thing. Um, I think the big thing for me and what's changed today specifically is experiencing without looking. What I mean is not like, I'm not saying that I'm not open to new things. What I'm saying is I'm not on a vigilant lookout for, oh, is this person going to say something to me or whatever. I'm just letting things play out naturally. And you know, like, it's like being aware without being vigilant. And I think that being in a state like that is important. So yeah, I do want to go to the gardens tomorrow. Um, I also do believe that I will not be seeing the friend anymore. Um, I'm pretty sure we said goodbye. Because tomorrow, like, they have a thing going on tonight, which I knew that I just wouldn't fit in to that like group thing. And yeah, it was totally like, yeah, I didn't get invited, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I wouldn't really have wanted to be in an environment like that. So I'm happy that, like, I'm glad that they came to the same conclusion I did, which is I just don't think I would have fit in there. Um, so so yeah. Um, Other than that, oh right. So the reason, so so they're gonna stay there. Um, you know, drink, hang out with people, stay up late, all of that stuff. And so I think tomorrow they're probably like, I don't know what their outlook looks like tomorrow, but I just get the feeling I'm not going to see them tomorrow. And that's okay. Uh, and I even said, like, hey, look, you know, you do not have to feel like we need to hang out again. I know you're busy. You got the like moving stuff. You literally have like a week to figure out your moving situation, because they're moving, and it's like, yeah, you have a lot on your plate. So, you know, if you want to kind of call it here, this is totally fine. So, um, they're like, hey, it was nice meeting you in person. So to me, that signals we will not be seeing each other again, which is fine. So that'll give me pretty much all day tomorrow to do the garden. I haven't eaten in there yet. They have some really good salad looking things and some sandwiches, so I think that'll be fun. Um, and then Monday. So really, today I'm just gonna be like, I'm on my laptop. I'm compiling a video. Um, it's crazy. I think I forgot like 1 or 2 days to just like film like an outro in the evening. So I know there's at least one video where I walk around most of the day while I was filming, like I did in North Carolina. The only difference is I didn't cap it later with the video. It definitely felt like this first half, I felt a little out of sorts. I think that's because there was the yo-yo effect of like being in and then knocked out of the like that like inner peace state where I was allowing myself to get knocked out in order to experience the negative feelings so that I could let them go. And then being yo-yoed back in and then feeling a little bit of the feelings, and it's like the residual echoes. And at this point, I don't think anything else is going to come up. Because really, like, even that was just dregs of like stuff. It wasn't even really like, it wasn't like feelings I still felt. It was just like past echoes. So yeah, so now I'm just kind of like, okay, I truly have just let go at this point. Like, I can feel it. It's different than the previous let goes. It's kind of like in the previous let goes, I still had some stuff to work through. And then it was also getting used to all of this. But now it's like, okay, I've affirmed to myself, my home is my heart. I have a home inside of me. My, I'm already overflowing in love because I love myself. The intimacy, it's already inside. You guys saw it earlier when I was talking about it, but like, man, it's kind of it's kind of crazy how my throat is feeling, just kind of like I'm struggling to talk about stuff. So anyway, I also, to be fair, I have been talking for an hour, so I mean, that's something. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to make another video today, mainly because I'm not really going to do much else. Like, I'm just going to upload a bunch of videos, and I'll be fully up to date. And then tomorrow, I'll have tomorrow's videos that I haven't uploaded. But since this will be the last one, I'll make sure to upload this as well. So, yeah. So it's going to be just kind of, the rest of the day is just going to be boring. It's going to be me uploading. I think I'm going to play some more Final Fantasy. I didn't know that the sphere grid for Final Fantasy X, I forgot that you could move around with XP, where like you gain levels and then you walk around the sphere grid in order to add spheres to different abilities to get stuff. So your build can be whatever the fuck it wants to be for any of the characters. They all come pre-built with certain things where they start in certain areas. But there's a lot of freedom in effectively making any character anything, which is cool. So now obviously they have their specialties. So there's that, but yeah. But I forgot how fun the sphere grid and all of that stuff is. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to enjoy playing more of that. something interesting. Me not playing that, I think part of the reason I wasn't playing was because I was worried that I would miss an opportunity by playing it, which is silly. All the opportunities that are supposed to show up for me will, in whatever form they take it. But it's like, I like the game. So if I like it and I want to play it, then I can play it. And if I don't want to play it, that's also okay. But, not playing it for the right reason. Because I just don't feel like playing it. Versus, I'd really like to play this, but I want to go outside and walk so I don't miss out on opportunities. And it's like, well, it's like, come on. Like, you're not supposed to do it that way. That it doesn't work that way. So, yeah. Anyway. I guess, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.